What a lot of people don't understand about the American election is it's actually not just about Election Day. And that over the course of these last 5 or 6 weeks, there are a couple of major factors that are playing into what a candidate needs to do on Election Day to win. And one of the big factors in that is what's known as the early vote total, where you have an increasingly large percentage of the American electorate who vote early, before Election Day, either by absentee ballot, by mail-in ballot, or by actually going to the polls when they're open before the election in the last week or 10 days. Those people are locking in their support. And what that means for a candidate is that as every successive day passes in these last 5 or 6 weeks of an election, you need to not just be winning on Election Day, but to the extent that you're going to change the dynamics of the race, you actually need to be motivating new voters to come to the polls on Election Day in order to make up the votes that you have already lost in the weeks leading up to the election. Now, that plays out in a couple of different ways. One is you have campaigns that are very actively trying to get absentee ballots or bus potential voters to the polls before Election Day. And those ballots traditionally have been more Republican, that Republicans vote in higher numbers early than Democrats do. But in this election, Democrats have actually narrowed that gap rather significantly and are within about 2 percentage points in the statistics that we at least have so far of where the Republicans are in terms of the total number of votes possible and cast before Election Day. Now, this really matters because as much as a third of the U.S. electorate will actually vote before Election Day, which makes the math very hard for a candidate like Donald Trump, who is behind in the weeks leading up to the election, to make up and close that gap on Election Day itself. Now, two of the most important audiences for early vote are the military voting overseas, wherever U.S. military personnel are stationed, who are mailing in ballots to their home states, and also Americans abroad, who, while they don't get to vote for Congress, do get to vote for the presidency. And you have seen very aggressive outreach by both Democrats and Republicans this year for those American abroad votes and those military votes, particularly in the military, because in this election, while that's normally a very Republican voting bloc, you have had very high-profile military leaders come out and question Donald Trump's fitness to be president. And it's possible that more of that vote in this election will sway Democratic than we have seen in recent years.